just finished a meeting where you smiled at your screen for 20 seconds while your heart rate monitor flagged the pause as a downtime anomaly.
You won't believe what happened next. That wasn't a glitch in the software. It was the system deciding your break wasn't real enough to count.
I felt that heat rise in my chest before the alert even popped up. It's not just tracking keystrokes anymore. It's auditing the micro-expressions we think are private.
Exactly, we're trading the luxury of an unobserved moment for the privilege of staying online. If you blink too long, the algorithm suggests you're disengaged. If you type slowly, it assumes burnout.
But who decides what slow looks like? Is it the natural rhythm of thinking, or just the speed the machine demands?
The machine decides, and right now it's deciding that your rest is a defect in the workflow.
Imagine this for a second. So when I took a breath to gather my thoughts, the software didn't see a human. It saw a latency spike.
That's the new tax on your career. You don't get hired for your skills. You get pre-scored on your digital footprint before you ever speak to a person.
Picture this. It feels like we're being judged by a stranger who knows our passwords but doesn't know our names.
And the stranger is legally immune because the risk model says the decision is probabilistic, not personal. But the consequence is always personal.
Picture this. I wonder if anyone will notice that we're all performing happiness just to avoid getting flagged for fatigue.
They'll notice the metrics. They won't notice the exhaustion underneath. That's the trap.
I was watching a junior dev login this morning, and she spent 45 minutes just staring at her screen, waiting for the biometric handshake to confirm she was still present before she could type a single line of code. It felt less like working and more like standing in line at an airport gate that never opens.
No, hold on. You're framing this as a failure of the system, but the friction is actually the feature. That 45-minute wait, that's not a glitch. That's the latency budget required to verify her intent against the baseline.
But it sounds impossible, doesn't? We used to hire people based on their capacity for ambiguity. Now, if you hesitate for too long, the algorithm flags you for low engagement and locks your access until you resume the expected keystroke rhythm.
Exactly, and I don't fully buy that this is about security anymore. Recent reports show we've already seen this in the logistics sector, where drivers are monitored not just for speed, but for micro pauses that suggest fatigue. The system didn't replace people, it replaced hesitation.
The scale of this is honestly difficult to process. We think we're optimizing for efficiency, but we're actually optimizing for a specific, narrow type of human behavior that leaves no room for thinking, for doubt, or for the messy parts of problem solving.
No, the economics matter more than the technology here. Companies aren't scared of hackers. They are scared of the liability of an employee who takes 20 seconds to think before answering a client. So they build a wall that punishes that exact 20 seconds.
It feels like we're living in a world where privacy is a luxury good you can't afford if you need to use the tools to do your job.
That's the shift. Trust was the old operating system. Verification is the kernel now. It's a cold, hard update that we're installing while everyone argues about the user interface.
But does anyone actually feel safer? Or do we just feel more watched while typing?
Let's not get sentimental. The data doesn't care about feelings. If the metric dips, the access revokes. It's that simple.
So what do we do when the machine decides our pause was a threat instead of a thought?
You don't do anything. You just keep typing faster until the red light turns green again. That's the new normal.
You ever just stare at your Slack status for 20 minutes, knowing you're exhausted, and then panic when the little green dot doesn't flip to gray? Like, your body says asterisk down asterisk, but the UI is screaming asterisk up asterisk.
That happens because the busy indicator isn't a feature anymore. It's a compliance requirement. If you're offline too long, the system marks you for review.
The weird part is how quickly people normalize this. I saw a team leader get flagged for taking a mental health day, and the automated note suggested they were underutilizing resources.
Wait, that sounds scarier than it probably is, but you're right about the normalization. Most users probably won't even notice this happening until their bonus gets cut.
Exactly. It's not that the algorithm hates you, it's that the math assumes a straight line from login to output. It can't calculate the non-linear value of staring out a window.
See, that's the part I disagree with. It's not just math. It's a specific kind of surveillance capitalism where the goal is to extract the last ounce of cognitive surplus before the crash.
Recent reports show we've already seen this in early access versions of productivity suites. They track keystroke velocity, mouse dwell time, and even typing pauses to predict fatigue.
And if you pause too long,
They flag it, but here's the kicker. The system doesn't just flag you, it starts rewarding happiness. If you post a meme or use an emoji, your risk score drops.
so you have to perform wellness to avoid being disciplined. That's not automation, that's delegation.
Delegation of what?
Delegation of the responsibility for your own sanity to a script that thinks a smiley face equals a healthy employee.
It means you start feeling guilty for resting, because the tool is telling you that rest is inefficient. You're training yourself to feel anxious when you're actually tired.
And the scary thing is, the more you perform this fake happiness, the more the system trusts you, creating a feedback loop where you actually work harder to maintain the illusion.
It's like being asked to act out a scene while on stage. But if you miss a line, the director yells at you from the wings.
Right, and the worst part, you can't quit the play. Your job depends on staying in character.
So what happens to the listener right now?
You start editing your own thoughts before you type them. You filter out real fatigue and replace it with "I'm just having a moment." You become an actor in your own burnout.
It's exhausting just thinking about having to maintain that persona all day.
Exactly. The takeaway is to recognize when the tool is asking for a performance rather than a task. If you feel pressure to smile at a metric, step back.
But stepping back means falling behind, right?
That's the trap. The system wants you to believe that falling behind is your fault, not the design.
So the first sign of danger is when you feel relief at being offline, but also fear.
Yes, that tension is the signal. Don't smooth it over with a selfie.
Just let the feeling sit there, even if the red flag pops up.
Yeah, let the flag pop up. Maybe the algorithm is wrong about what a human needs.
I was just watching a candidate get rejected for a senior role because their LinkedIn activity flagged low engagement during the Q3 earnings call.
Wait, really? They didn't even apply yet?
No, the algorithm pre-scored them based on that digital footprint before a human ever saw the resume. It's not about skills anymore. It's about whether you looked bored while the market was moving.
So now the algorithm has stronger opinions than the humans. That feels like we just outsourced bias to a probabilistic risk model that can't explain itself.
See, that's the part I disagree with. It's not just bias, it's friction. The system is designed to filter out anyone who might be risky based on past behavior, not future potential.
Right, and the strange part, everyone kept using it anyway. Companies are terrified of looking behind the curtain, so they pretend the score is neutral, even when we know it's just predicting who won't ask for too much money.
It's like a credit score for your personality. But the math is built on things like how often you post memes, or if you took a weekend off.
Exactly, and the friction is real. If you don't fit the profile, you never get the interview, no matter how good you are.
But here's the trap. We thought this objective scoring was a way to make hiring faster and fairer, removing human error.
Which is why it's a trap. It removes the human element entirely, replacing it with a black box that says no to anyone who doesn't match the historical data of previous hires.
So you're saying we're optimizing for the past, not the future.
Optimizing for the past is what fairness looks like in this context. It means we're only hiring people who are already like the people we hired last year.
And the irony is, candidates start gaming the system. They fake their digital footprints just to pass the pre-screen.
Which just feeds the algorithm more noise, making it even less accurate. We're creating a feedback loop where everyone acts the same to survive the filter.
The strange part, users may actually prefer this, because it feels like an objective barrier.
Prefer it? You mean they prefer not having to deal with a human who might be tired, biased, or just having a bad day?
Exactly. The machine doesn't care if you're having a crisis at home, it just checks the box.
But the cost is that we lose the ability to see the person. We're just seeing the data points.
And the worst part is, if the algorithm makes a mistake, there's no one to blame. It's just the model.
No, hold on, that's not the only risk. The real danger is that we stop trying to understand why someone is different.
We just want the filter to work.
And that's the problem. We've accepted a world where working means excluding the weird, the quiet, and the unpredictable.
But what if the only people who get hired are the ones who already fit in?
Which is exactly what's happening. The system is self-sealing.
So, how do we fix this without breaking the objectivity companies claim they need?
Maybe we stop pretending the algorithm is neutral. Maybe we start auditing the scores themselves.
Like a third-party review of the hiring process before the first resume is seen.
Yes, a third-party audit that asks, what is this model actually predicting, and is that what we want?
Because right now, the model is predicting who won't be surprised by tomorrow.
And that's not a career, that's a status report.
So the takeaway is, don't trust the score. Trust the person behind it.
Even if the person behind it is gone.
Then maybe we need to bring them back. It's weird how we're already used to the camera light on our forehead, treating constant monitoring like a standard perk rather than a breach.
So maybe the silent shift isn't about efficiency at all, but just normalizing the idea that your productivity belongs to the protocol.
If you think that's the new normal, hit that button so we can figure out if there's anything left to question.